Alright, welcome back to the PyCSE channel. A couple of days ago I saw this blog post on Medium on introducing notebook intelligence. And this is a package, Jupyter extension for integrating GitHub Copilot into Jupyter Lab so that you can have this AI assistance from GitHub Copilot. Now this is a kind of a large language model that can help you generate code, help you debug code, and they've integrated it pretty smoothly in. So I'm going to go through the blog post kind of briefly and then show you how I use it. So eventually you pip install a notebook intelligence package. There's some directions at the bottom, and what it does is add a couple of new things. There's a little button over here for Copilot on the left, and that's where we'll click on that to log in. GitHub Copilot has a free tier, so it should be pretty straightforward for everyone to use. Then it can help you generate code. It shows you some diffs. Let's see. These are all kind of scrolling. It puts in here something that it indicated that it's generated. You can ask it to generate code by clicking this little button right here that's in the cell, and then it'll give you a prompt. You can let's see what happens here. This is going to generate code. This one says actually fix it. It shows you what it fixes. We'll try some of these things. Explain and troubleshoot code. So there's a menu that lets you do a couple of different things. It offers some completions, so depending on how you've used Jupyter Lab before, it either doesn't help you at all, or you may have tried one of the language server protocol packages that does this kind of thing. So we'll have a look at that. And then there's a chat window on the left where you can ask questions and do things. So that looks pretty interesting. And this is like having a ChatGPT but Copilot in your notebook. Alright, and then there's a couple of chat commands. If I remember, we'll look at those. And this is what you do eventually, pip install notebook intelligence. I've already done that in a shell, and I already have a Jupyter Lab running, so we'll look at it here. And then you do have to have a Copilot subscription, but like I said, I went there. It suggests that you can get started for free if you need something more than free. There's just for developers looking to get started. There's a pro version you can use if you want. Even this says it's free for verified students and teachers. Okay, so let's just have a look here. Hardly anything is different other than I do have this button over here. I have to log into GitHub Copilot. Here I have a GitHub account, so I'll log this. Here it says copy this code to this device. I'll use this. Maybe this is some secret code that no one's supposed to be able to use. We'll authorize the GitHub thing. Now I can just close this, and now this is activated. And so since this is open, we can ask it a question like, how do you write a function of x with an optional argument a that computes a times x squared? So eventually it gives you some idea, and then you could just copy this here. I'll make a new notebook, and then you could paste it here, and now let's see what happens if I do compute squared. Thought that it would maybe show me some completion, but maybe there is some completion there. Let's just do this and click run. That should give me an error. And then if I click on this, I could say fix this code. Let's see what happens. So here it's going to looks like it wants to rewrite the function. I wonder if I can just delete that. I could. Accept. And now I can run it. So here it has the prompt, and so if you click on this again, it actually reuses the prompt, and you can iterate. So here it's going to delete this red line and use this green line. It's going to give it a value of 2. I can change it to 3 and then just say accept and run it again, and now that does the right thing. Let's see. There should be this little menu. Let's go back and see where was that, this inline menu. Ooh, I want to try that. Let's try that while it's on my mind. Okay, so get list of images from URL. Seems like maybe you have to do something to make it complete that. So that didn't quite work the way it suggested. Either I'm not pausing or I'm not typing something. The thing I'm looking for is this. Where is this? Copilot context menu. Oh, it's up here. Let's see if I can generate code. Well, that works okay. Let's see, I don't know how I missed that, explain code. So that happens over here in the chat. Oh, this is interesting. Maybe, oh, I did click it here. Copilot, explain code. So this is going to explain this, kind of give you some idea about it. This should give me an exception, and so if I do this, let's say troubleshoot errors in output. This is going to give me just the obvious thing, division by 0. Then the only question is, like, how do I get this to ask Copilot to generate it? From the video, it looks like this should be kind of suggesting, like, the name. Oh, there it is. How about that? Get images URL. This is a stretch in a way. But based on that, it does have a URL, and it looks like it would use request to get the text, and then generate a beautiful soup parser, get a list of images, and then find all images that are tagged, and then get the source. Now the question is, how do you accept that? It's not enter. Oh, that's interesting. It generated a slightly different version. Maybe just Control Enter? No. It's another one. Oh, now there's a, what is this? That's indenting. Oh, maybe you have to press a button there. So that looks like it would probably work. I wouldn't personally put the imports inside a function, but there's nothing wrong with it. They'll just work in that function. Okay, so let's see. Let's go. Maybe there's some images here. Why not? Let's try it out. Get images. Seems like it's going to take a little bit of practice to figure out how to use this. But that does indeed pull out a bunch of images. And click on one, that seems pretty cool. Okay, I don't know if there's too much more to illustrate here other than you know, getting used to how to do it. Let's try one more. I'm going to put a comment. Write a function that defines y of x equals x cubed plus x squared minus 1. Then use then find the roots of that polynomial. Alright, def find roots. Seems amazing. So, I feel like there's got to be a key command. Provider, accept, find roots. So there are a bunch of roots. I probably picked a not such a great one. Let's make it simpler. Accept 1 and minus 1. So at least I know that answer's right. Seems pretty interesting. There's lots of other ways you could do. Actually, this is funny because these two things aren't actually related. np.roots is the way I would do that. I did ask it to write a function. Maybe let's change this so that it, let's say, using SciPy. You could also have just put this in the prompt to generate code. Maybe we should say this function, because if somebody said find the roots of a polynomial, I would do that. Alright, that's not going to do it. It does the function, but it's not finding the roots. Let's be a little more specific. Okay. So this looks like it's going to do the right thing. That's better. Import scipy.optimize is optimize. Generate a function. We have to give it an initial guess, and so it will do that, but it's only going to find one. If you pick minus 2, it should find the other one. This one's actually a great pathological example, I think. 0 0 is not a root of this polynomial, but the derivative is 0 there, and is that right? Yeah, the derivative might be 0 at x squared, and so that causes a problem. If you just make this the tiniest bit off, then it goes the other way. This is a great example of why we won't ever be able to just use these tools directly without verifying the solution. 0 is, in my lecture notes, what I would call a pathological guess, and let's just spend some time here. Plot the function y of x from -2 to 2. Alright, and so here you can see at 0 there's a stationary point, and so the way these algorithms work to find where it's equal to 0 here and here is uses something like the Newton-Raphson's method that relies on the derivative not being 0. When the derivative is 0, it can't go anywhere, and so that's why I call this a pathological case. Okay, I think that's probably enough introduction to using the Copilot chat in Jupyter. It's pretty awesome. If you already use VS Code and you already have Copilot or some other kind of coding assistant or LLM assistant, you might not need it. But it's pretty straightforward to use, and all you need is the GitHub account, and then you can wire it in. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk about some other topics that are like this another time in the future.